So today you are learning how to predict the number of outcomes that will occur based off the theoretical probability. So the theoretical probability that a spinner will land on the sun is 7/20. So let's just say we have a spinner and that's the probability. If you spin the spinner 60 times, so spin once, spin twice, spin 3 times, you can predict the number of times the spinner will land on the sun section. And to do that, you set up the proportion. So always put the number of times an event will occur at the top and the total possible outcomes at the bottom. We've been doing that for probability this whole time. The difference is we set up that probability 7/20 equal to the number of times we will spin, and x represents the number of times we will land in the sun section, and we don't know that. So what we do is we cross multiply, so 7 times 60 and 20 times x. To solve 420 equals 20x, we divide both sides by 20, and 420 divided by 20 gets me 21. That means if you spin the spinner 60 times, you can expect to land on the sun 21 times. That's not what will definitely happen, but you can predict it's going to be about 21 times based off the theoretical probability. So we are going to predict the number of times the following sections will be landed on when the spinner is spun 48 times. So let's first look at 3. The probability of landing on 3 is 1 out of 6. We're going to set up our proportion, and we want to know 48 times, so 48 is the total, so it's going to go on the bottom. We don't know the number of times it might be landed on. So we're going to cross multiply. So 1 times 48 is 48. 6 times x is 6x. We are going to do the opposite of multiplying by 6, which is dividing by 6. 48 divided by 6 is 8. So the number of times we can predict to land on the number 3 when we spin it 48 times is 8. It's not guaranteed it will land 8 times, but we can give a prediction. We can guess based off the information we're given. Let's look at the odd numbers. So we have 1 odd number, 2, 3 odd numbers. So probability of landing on an odd is 3/6, or 1/2. If I simplify that down, and you don't have to. And then 48 is the total time, so it's going to go in the denominator. I don't know the number of times it will be spun, so we're cross multiply. 48 times 1 is 48. 2 times x is 2x. To get x alone, we divide both sides by 2, because it's the inverse of multiplying by 2. 48 divided by 2 is 24. So we can predict to land on an odd number 24 times in the spinner when we spin it 48 times. Now, let's look at the letters. There is 2 letters. So probability of landing on a letter is 2/6. And I don't have to simplify it. I could down to 1/3. Let's say if I don't. So 48 is the total, so it's going to go on the denominator.
I'm going to cross multiply. 48 times 2 is 96 equals 6x. Divide both sides by 6 because that's the inverse. And we get,
16. So we can predict to land on a letter 16 times out of 48. That's not guaranteed to happen. I'm just going to keep reiterating that. Now the probability of landing on a 3 or a z, so we have 1, 3, and a z, so that's 2 out of 6. Let's say we simplify that down to 1/3. And I set up my proportion.
I cross multiply. I divide by 3. And I get
16 equals x. So we would land on a 3 or a z about 16 times.